Hi, I'm Leo Khoury from SpartanSC. I'm the founder and CEO, as well as the managing consultant for both the US and the Jordan office. Over the past 10 years, having worked in and around human resources with multiple organizations, both multinational, local, and family businesses, I have identified one reason why in the Middle East is HR undervalued and why it needs to be valued a lot more. And the reason is because business owners tend to not see how human resources directly impacts their bottom line, their profitability, and their corporate reputation as well. So when you look at recruitment, you have many different sub-professions. Some organizations can't afford to have all these specialists involved. However, human resources has a major function involved. If I was to launch a business today, the place I would start is with the mission, vision, and values, something I truly believe in. I would also identify the key stakeholders or client or customer demographic. As such, I would break it down into the departments that I'm going to need, both back office and front office. Front office facing your external stakeholders, such as corporate affairs, public relations, marketing, sales. But when I pull back to the back office, I'm going to need accounting, finance, human resources, or all these different things. Now, what does human resources, how does it affect your bottom line, right? And this is the reason, that we really need to value it. Because when I have these mission, vision, values, and I have this idea in my mind about the client demographic, and I have my idea about how I'm going to operate in my market or on a global scale even, human resources is going to break down the process per department. The process per department, accounting, there's cost accounting, there's revenue, there's, receivables. There's a bunch of different sub-professions within accounting, and they're all individual functions within accounting. Same with human resources. So when I break down human resources, we have compensation benefits, we have recruitment and hiring and selection, whatever you want to call it. We have employee relations. We have employer branding, which is effectively a marketing department within human resources that is a sub-function of the recruitment department. Because if your employer branding is weak, you're going to struggle to hire top talent. And if your reputation is bad, you're going to have to pay more for top talent than you would have if your reputation as an employer was good. So the reason is because people don't want to work for a bad employer. People want to go somewhere and be happy to go and spend 9 hours, 5 days a week there. So it's really important that you set your employer positioning in the market the right way from day one. Now, we were beginning to talk about process. Let's go back to that for a second because it's really important. So when I talk about the process per department, we need to understand that for recruitment, let's use recruitment as an example. So you have the beginning of the process, which is not sourcing. It is actually the skill gap analysis, which is normally done by people that are performance management specialists. However, HR people in general might know how to do it, especially if they're experienced. So as a performance management specialist, it is my job to take the processes of the department or sub-function of the department, really clearly lay out the processes, really clear out, write down what skills are required, what competencies are required, what experience is required for any person to manage this function or these group of functions within the department. Accordingly, you will then be able to create a formula clear as day and easily to calculate the performance of that part of the function or that individual managing that function. And that is how you start to do performance management. Now, when you start tracking the performance management, it's not, HR can't do it all. HR is normally one person for every 300 in the US. That's the standard there because they have advanced systems. In the Middle East, it's more like 3 people for 300 people. So in that situation, you have 3 people for 300 people. How do you expect them to monitor and evaluate the performance of all these people? That's why we use the hierarchy system within organizations. So when I have a bunch of entry-level employees, let's say 50, Do you think that the manager for that department can monitor all these people? No, that's why we have supervisors. Now, supervisors are now sitting and monitoring his staff, and they need to be trained. They need to be educated on how to monitor performance unbiasedly and give them feedback in the right way. Because if you give someone negative feedback in front of other people, it's going to backlash. So delivery of feedback is critical. Now, this is all not completely administered by human resources, but it is calculated by human resources. It is done correctly. It is implemented correctly. We implement through the hands of the managers, the people that are assigned to implement, to make things happen, to get things done, to make sure that the machine is well oiled and running properly. Now, if you don't know at what part of any process is doing good or bad, then how do you know how to identify why your organization is not seeing profit at the end of every year? Whoa, that's the power of human resources. Now, hiring the right people. When you identify skill gaps, it's going to be a lot easier after you've broken down the process and the performance metrics for the department as a whole. When you assign specific tasks to someone, you will be able to identify those specific tasks based on the sub-function of the process of the department. Whoa, the power of human resources. Okay, now that we understand human resources, how do you attract the right people? You need someone who's a specialist in compensation and benefits, and someone that really understands how to put it all together in an attractive package, even if you don't have the budget to compete. How do you do it? Some people go through the leading methodology where they do pay raises at the beginning of the year. Some people do it at the middle of the year. Some people do it at the end of the year. But here's the difference. If you do it at the beginning of the year, you're setting the tone for the rest of your industry. If you do it at the middle of the year, you're just kind of existing. If you do it at the end, you're following. So if someone goes up 20%, then you're going to have to follow at least 15% in order to stay in the game and attract the right talent, the top talent. But you're going to need to balance with something else, because if someone got an offer at 20% increase and you're giving an offer at 15% increase, you're going to struggle there, right? So how are you going to do it? Non-financial incentives. That's how you do it. This is the power of human resources. What? There you go. Now you're getting it. Now, this is the value of human resources. So have a close look at our services. Have a close look at Spartan Service Corporation and understand the value that you're getting. Most organizations charge 8.33% in the Middle East, and then if you go out into the Gulf, they charge around 10 to 15%, and if you go out to the US and Europe, they charge 20 to 33% of the annual salary. So when you compare that to SpartanSC prices and how we broke down our services as according to the standard process of recruitment, you will see the value. You will understand that the value you're getting from SpartanSC far outweighs many other organizations. Have a great day. Good luck.